Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, 7:40 a.m. Prices of Bitcoin currently at 8,099. Bit of a movement overnight. First things first, let me get some bills out of the way, folks. As you guys very well know, all right, in our community, we also do equities analysis, okay? And starting April, again, if you are an Advantage member or you are considering being an Advantage member, all right, we are including Forex analysis in the chat, options analysis and chat, and then oil analysis and chat, okay? So these are going to open up three new avenues for you to trade in, all right? Three different markets, essentially, all right? And Faisal, actually, our equities analyst, he already trades options pretty heavily. I already trade Forex pretty heavily. I already trade oil, not, not that heavily, but time and time again, I do trade oil. I think I rather prefer trading gold versus oil because oil recently has been pretty volatile and it's really been unpredictable with so many of the external news factors with, say, issues with Venezuela, the tensions between Russia and America, and then recently Russia and Saudi Arabia basically ramping up oil production without basically going against OPEC, right? Again, if you want to learn about these things, plus the amount of crypto analysis that we do, right? The trades that we put out, the analysis that we provide over here in the Advantage community. You could see this is our Bitcoin analysis channel, folks. You know, I'm up fairly early in the morning. I'm giving people analysis through the day. I'm giving people evening updates, just like this video recording that you're seeing right now. So for the most part, you know, we are pretty heavily engaged with our Advantage members, all right? And if you're not part of a community that gives you this much amount of content or gives you this much amount of education and teaching you about different asset classes, right, like commodities and oil and Forex trades and the US stock market, and especially crypto, right? If you are not part of a community like that, come join and learn from people who do this for a living. Okay, we literally do this for a living. And you know, again, I put out this course the other day. It's called 10 Commandments, How to Trade for a Living, right? This is my rule set, my rule structure of how I go about it on a day-to-day basis in terms of managing my risk, taking positions, scaling in, scaling out, discipline that I need when you're taking a couple losses versus taking a bunch of winners, how to manage your capital properly, etc. Okay, all this stuff is in my rule book right here that I put out in a video. So you can go to Cryptosomniac, hit the subscribe button, and then watch this video. And especially, you know, even if you don't like trading crypto as much and you love trading equities, we have an awesome equities analysis chat right here where you can see daily updates, you know, midday updates, morning updates, as you can see right here. And then we do videos every Sunday, right? Every Sunday we give you a breakdown of what we've seen in the past week and what we're looking for the week ahead. So for the last two and a half weeks, actually, or rather the last 3 weeks, we've been talking about this downturn and we'd actually talked about shorting a couple of stocks. So if you watch some of our videos, you would have caught those moves like we did, and you would have been in the money instead of suffering in the stock market like the rest of the people. And I actually closed out a majority of my positions like Caterpillar, Facebook, Amazon, and Netflix, okay? And I think Walmart as well. Well, actually, no, Walmart, I think I have open. So for the most part, you know, we were talking about this market when it was up here, right? We said that, hey, this thing looks really overextended. Then we talked about the treasury bond rates going up, right? When the stock market was basically edging near a cliff, this started breaking out, and this told us that, hey, maybe it's time to be cautious, maybe it's time to trim down your positions. And so these are the things that we started telling people. This is what we're watching, this is how we're positioning ourselves, these are the sectors we're watching. And so you could see in our community, not only are we heavily crypto focused, but we are equities focused too. And now that we're opening up the Forex channel and the oil channel and the options channel, you will have a basket of assets to trade into. Okay, you will understand how to trade these assets, how to learn what reports to read, what platforms to get on, how to utilize stop losses and risk management in these particular assets. Okay, so come join, folks. Cryptosomniac.com. Hit the products page right there. Okay, products page, and join the Advantage subscription. Okay, you can see clearly that for $100 a month, you're getting everything that you're seeing right now in terms of a video, plus these trade setups that you have for the crypto assets. Plus, you have an equities analyst who's telling you the positions he's getting in and out of, a stock market chat, and now you're going to start having Forex and options and oil. I think that's a steal, folks. I definitely think that's a steal, okay? So anyway, with that being said, excuse me, with that being said, let's get to the analysis, okay? So what we've seen so far is really, movement, excuse me, in this channel right here. This is really the channel that we're in right now, all right? And you can see we basically bounce off the bottom of the channel right there. And now it looks like, we might be aiming for the mid of the channel, okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you a couple things why I look at things in channels, in trading ranges. Number one, there's a larger philosophy out there in the markets that markets move in either trending, either ranging, or in channels. Okay, those are only three different ways the market's pretty much moving, right? So the markets are trending when they're going like this, right? So you understand there's a trend, there's either a moving average that kind of floats along with it, there's either a trend line that kind of meets price and touches the price, and price hugs it and keeps bouncing off, or there's channels like this where price kind of moves in a range like this and moves up and down inside of it, okay? And then last but not least, there's also trading channels right there where you can look at it from the perspective of a larger top and a bottom, right? Like a range high and a range low. So last week when we were looking at range highs and range lows, this was really the range we were looking at. And we actually got in and out of these, this trading range right here multiple times, okay? So again, if you don't know how to do these things, you don't know how to understand and draw channels, you don't know how to trade them, you don't know how to essentially exercise caution when price is moving in a direction that you don't understand why it's moving, come join Cryptosomniac and we can at least help you and teach you to understand how price behaves. We're not going to tell you this is going up or down because we have no idea. I'll be honest and let you know that if someone tells you that, that's bullshit and it's a lie and you're probably getting duped, okay? And same with me, right? I always lay out the possibilities and probabilities of where price could move. I will never say that, guys, this is the bottom and now we have to go straight up from here, okay? I will never say that because good traders do not look at the market that way. I don't know a single good trader out there who will say that this is the bottom, we're bouncing up from here and we're gonna go straight up. The good trader might say that this is potentially a bottom. We now have to look at the next resistance levels and see how price reacts. If it breaks past the next resistance level, then we can start seeing momentum to the next one and the next one and the next one, okay? This is how a good trader acts. And with that, the good trader will also say that when price moves up to this level, I'm gonna move my stop loss up here. I'm gonna either trim profit up here and I'm gonna start aiming for the next targets up here, okay? That is how good traders become profitable time and time again, all right? So now the price action is moving, right? You're probably wondering, okay, well, what the hell does this mean for where we are right now? Okay, so again, like I showed you guys earlier, right? So let's go back to the channel that I drew. Okay, so this was the channel that we were in. Yesterday, I told my community that if we start breaking outside this trading range, this descending trend line that you were seeing right here, chances are higher that we go to the range high, okay? Which is pretty much what we did, but we kind of blasted through it, right? And so now where are we? Okay, we're well above the range high. Remember, this is the range high. And how do you define a range high? Well, you look for a big sharp move, right? Look for where price first bounced and look for the first high that the price first created after that first bounce, okay? That is how you define a trading range. So we created this bottom, we created this top. Notice again, that same top got rejected right there, right? And even over here, price consolidated over here before it blasted through this key resistance. So we know with higher certainty that this is probably the range high right here, okay? So that's around about $8,000. Okay. So now that price is moving back up, what do we say? We say, okay, well, it looks like price is, pushing up higher and higher. All right. If it's supposed to push up higher, it should come back to this area, test it as support, and then take off. Typically, it's just a general rule in the market, not that it has to happen. Typically, when you have, previous, say, resistance levels like this, and then price blasts it through, you typically want it to come back, test this area of support, and then start taking off. Why? Because you've established this area now as a key support level where price cannot just slice right through, okay? When price kind of just comes to this area, hovers sideways, and then starts grinding and breaking down like that, then you know that this area is about to break, and then you can start positioning yourself as short, or essentially get out of your long out of the market. Okay. All right. So where are we? Okay. So we're currently at 8,138. So price has moved up about $40 since we started this video, right? If we start looking at, say, smaller time frames, price is now starting to breach those key lower highs. So remember, this is a key lower high. This is another key lower high. Now, the interesting thing about this one is I would probably say that the key marker for this lower high is right there, which is right above this wick right here, okay? So that's around 8,185. It was very possible that we kind of come very close to that, maybe even wick inside of it, like above it, and then start selling off, okay? The reason being why I believe that we should still maintain our downtrend is because if we start looking at the daily chart, okay, number one, we understand that price has already hit this high right here, and we've created consistent lower highs. Lower high, lower high, and lower high. So even if price comes back to, say, 8,500, it could still very well be like a lower high like that, okay? What price really needs to do and establish, folks, is something like this, okay? Price creates a bottom, creates a floor, puts in a higher low like that, then puts in a higher high like that. So this is your high, higher high, low, higher low. This is when you've established, okay, now there's two consecutive, or rather one consecutive higher high and higher low, right? That means that price is now starting to show strength. Why is that important? Because once price creates a floor like this, you want to see that even if the price is pressured down, it creates a higher low from this low. That means that the bulls are stepping up to the plate and they're not allowing price to come back to this area, right? That signifies strength on behalf of the bulls, okay? Now, if price did something like this and then price went up and then smashed back down again, that signifies strength from the bears because they said that, hey, we'll let you come up here, but there's no way you're passing through this area. And then so, go down below, right? So this is where you create a low and a lower low. Then you know that your structure of the market, which is, like I said, the lower high, lower high, lower high, and then the low, lower low, lower low, those are all maintained, right? And so the bearish trend is still intact, okay? Yesterday, I told my community members that look for this 70.5 level. Unfortunately, I personally just spaced out because I was focused on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame, and I didn't even see the 70.5 fib getting tapped perfectly and bouncing off. Okay, now again, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm a little under the weather today. If you're feeling like you don't understand how fibs work and how the structure of the market works, okay, and how to read fibs and draw fibs, again, this is something that we explain in our community. And I'm not going to go through the education section all over again to explain you how fibs work. You can come join the community and learn, right? But the way you draw this fib is you basically go from this bottom to this high and you realize, okay, well, the 70.5 retracement, which is, again, a very heavily utilized retracement by the standards of algos and even Forex traders, okay? You can see once price hit this high, it tapped that 70.5 area perfectly, and now it's bouncing off again. Why is that level important? Well, it's important for a couple of reasons, okay? Number one, most people, right, most professionals will look out for this area right here, which is, we call it the golden pocket. The golden pocket is between, right now, 79.91 and 78.59. But imagine if you wanted to get into your big positions into the golden pocket, but you did not want to essentially deal with all the people, say the retailers or other bots and algos that are trying to front run you, meaning they're trying to buy the price right here before it gets down here, right? So what they do is they, as in, professionals or bots, they'll pressure the price down, break this golden pocket area, pressure it down all the way to the 70.5%, have these people panic and maybe set their stops right below here. And so those people get stopped out of their positions, and the professional collect all of this. They collect all of this. They have their orders laid down in this whole box. Remember that when bigger players are trying to get in and out of the market, it is not only enough for them to get into a level as soon as it taps once. And it's especially not enough at a single price marker, okay? It's usually a wide range, and it's usually a longer span of time. Say, for example, like this. This was 6 weeks of reaccumulation before price pushed up, right? So it makes sense that if price is going to come down into this area again, we're going to probably either spend a lot of time over here in this particular golden pocket area and then push off, okay? That is probably, if this is the bottom. If it's not the bottom, all we're really gonna do, maybe hit this area, which is this previous base, and then start selling off again, okay? Another way to look at this is, I'm actually looking at this particular area, this particular box right here, where we could face resistance and then start selling off. And that box is between $8,200 and about $8,300, okay? If we hit that box and we start rejecting, I would probably say that that's a good area to short, okay? Because really no one is expecting price to get up to 82, 8,300 and not, feel like FOMOing into the market. Once you start FOMOing into the market, you're thinking that, oh, price is gonna go way up here, but in reality, all it's doing is it's meeting previous support right here, right? And now that's turning into resistance, okay? So we're going off like this, hitting that same area, and then probably rejecting down and potentially going further. Now that doesn't mean that we can't do what we talked about earlier, where it goes like this, maybe puts in a higher low, and then starts pushing back up, okay? So if that's the case, right, and say you shorted right there, once you start seeing price doing something like this and puts in a higher low, it might be time to get out like right there. So even if you get out right there and say you got in somewhere around this box from here down, that's a good, 4.5% move that you just captured, okay? So that's a good amount of money in my opinion, all right? Let me see here on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so on the 4-hour time frame, again, same thing, right? 82.44, that was a previous base. That was key SR level, as in this area that was resistance, this area that was support, and so now we should be turning into that same area as resistance again, okay? So again, look out for that area, $8,200 to $8,300. And folks, it's never going to be as easy as finding you a marker of 8225.75. It's never like that. It's usually a range where price can get in and out of, okay? All right, let me see. Oh, this is another thing that I want to talk about. So I'm sure you've seen, whether it's on crypto Twitter or everybody talking about how the stock market is, essentially forecasting the moves for Bitcoin, right? Because as the traditional markets are going down, Bitcoin is going down with it. And in my opinion, it's going down harder and faster, right? So if we are starting to look at the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and then the NASDAQ, these are the three big indices of the US stock markets. And you can see this morning, right, these were all up. And what else was up this morning? Bitcoin was up, okay? So for the most part, right, in my opinion, after we had such an aggressive sell-off, it makes sense that we're going to bounce a little bit, maybe create a larger trading range. And so I expect price for even the S&P 500 to come back, maybe test this area as resistance where it was previous support last week. But when we smash through it, I expect it to come to this area and maybe test it as resistance. Okay, so what's really going to happen is we're probably going to have another trading range where this is a low, and this is probably the high, and we'll probably move around this trading range for the rest of the week. And if things look weak again by say next Monday, then we're probably going to go down lower. Okay, and I would expect Bitcoin to go down lower as well. All right. So remember that this was the key area for the S&P 500. That's about 28.25 down to or up to about 28.61 or so. Okay, that's really the previous support that was there. All right, and then the next support that we're in right now is about 27.45 down to about 26.85. Okay, that would be the key support level. Okay. So with that being said, again, I would probably look for Bitcoin to try to push up even higher, to levels where people are going to keep shorting this, and people are going to start FOMOing along. And when you start seeing that the whole space has started to talk about, all right, well, it looks like we're going to go up, that's usually the time where I feel like the market's going to turn. You have to understand two things. You have to understand to read two things. Number one, sentiment in the market. Number two, technicals. Obviously, technicals is first and foremost. The sentiment doesn't mean anything because most of crypto traders don't really know what they're doing anyway, right? Nothing against them. It's just that, most people will buy when the prices are up and they'll sell when the prices are down. Okay, that's typical herd retail mentality, right? So if you don't want to be in that retail mentality and you want to be a contrarian in this market and you want to understand how to trade technicals and ignore the noise that you're seeing from other traders and other influence from other people, come join and we will teach you how to read the technicals and how you can trade with us. Okay, I'm sure you guys have seen all these different paid groups, and then I have nothing against them. Okay, some of them might be good, some of them might be even better than I have. Okay, but what we provide in our community is, number one, we trade for a living. So we actually trade these markets. Okay, unlike other people who actually just post up trades and you don't really know if they're actually trading this market. Okay, number two, we provide a significant amount of content, folks. And I'm talking about significant amount. Okay, if you look in our Bitcoin analysis section, right, I'm pretty much available almost, 14 to 16 hours a day. All right. I love what I do. I enjoy trading, and I also really enjoy my community. But you're probably wondering, okay, well, if you're trading for a living, why do you require to be in a paid group, right? That's such a weird question to ask someone, right? Because I personally think that if you're good at anything in life, why should you do it for free, right? If you're, and why shouldn't you have supplemental income? There are days and months, folks, where even I have rough time in the markets, right? So it helps when I create a group like this and I show you guys, hey, this is, where we messed up. Here's where I'm seeing, here's how I'm going to position myself for the next week and the next trade and the next, short or long position. Okay. So why would you not want someone like that guiding you on this journey of you trying to become a better trader and investor in this market? All right. So understand that when people are trying to teach you something where they provide a significant amount of content for, in my opinion, a very, a reasonable price, try to take people up on the offer, even if it's not me. Learn from them. And if you don't like it, hey, it's $100 out of your pocket. And, you can just say, all right, well, that wasn't for me, and that's it, But if it really resonates with you and you really enjoy the content and you're trading and you're making money, then you basically, $100 a month is just chump change compared to, whatever capital that you're using to make trades with, right? If you make consistent gains, okay, $100 a month is really not that much, right? Especially if you say have a $5,000 or a $10,000 account, right? You make, say, one trade a week that yields you maybe 2%, $10,000 a month. I mean, you've already recovered your membership costs and some money on top of that, right? So that's the point, folks. If you really want to understand how to trade this market, come join us, come trade with us, see what we're about, see how we trade, see the amount of content that we provide, okay? Now, another way I look at the markets, folks, is, last but not least, right? There's this volume profile right here. This is the session volume, okay? So what I look at is typically on a day-to-day basis, right? So from one candle open to the other candle close on a day-to-day basis, how has the volume been transacted in a particular range? So we call this the VPSV indicator right here, and you can just type this in right there under indicators. And so what this does is it creates kind of like a profile for you where you get to understand where the higher profile price action was, okay, in terms of volume, and where the lower profile and POC is, which is this red line that you see, which is the point of control. And so these points of controls tell you a couple of things, okay? Typically when the price is under it, things are bearish and we expect further downside. When price comes back and breaks above it, like it did right here, we expect more upside. Same thing right here. When price broke back above this area right there, we expected more upside, okay? So the point is that, when you're in this market, understand that there are certain indicators, certain things that you can come to learn that will help you in understanding, where to get in, where to get out. None of them are going to be able to tell you prices have to go up and down and this is the exact target, but they will give you a reasonable amount of possibilities and probabilities, like I said, where you realize it looks like the market will basically tell you, it looks like the odds are stacked against you if you're looking to go long or short. The technicals are stacked against you. So those are the things that you want to look out for in a market that you're trying to trade. Understand the tools that you're working with, understand what the people in this market, such as myself, how they're trading, how they're positioned, what they're saying, and then also apply your own knowledge. If you think that, I'm wrong, counter trade me, or maybe even ask me questions instead of counter trading me. Say, hey, why did you think of it this way? Why are you using this indicator this way, etc. I'm always happy to answer questions for those who are curious. Okay, I'm not here to tell you to buy or sell, and buy here and sell here. Okay, this is not what this community is about. And if you're looking for that, you might as well stop watching this video because this is not for you. Anything in life that's worth having, that truly provides value, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the time and you have to put in the energy. And at the beginning, I'll be honest, you'll probably lose your emotions and you'll probably lose some money, especially if you're greedy. But if you manage your risk properly and you understand how to minimize your risk by setting stops properly, by not risking, say, 1 or 2% of your capital, especially when you're in a trade and your stop gets hit, right? Make sure that you only lose, say, 1 or 2% of your capital. So for example, say you're in a trade with your $1,000. Say you're in a trade with your entire account, right? When your stop gets hit, you need to make sure that you're not losing, say, more than 2%. So that's of 1,000, that's $20, right? So any given trade that you're in, you should try to make sure that you're not losing more than 1 to 2%. But here's the thing. The caveat to that is when you're in a trade, when you understand that, so for example, if say you were going long here, right? And you said that, okay, I'm going to enter here with $1,000. I'm going to place my stop right here. Okay. So say, right about this area. Okay. So about you're losing 60 bucks. Okay. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out another way. That doesn't make sense due to the technicals, but say you're getting into the market like right there, okay, and you're only willing to lose, say, $20. All right, so if you're in the market right there, all right, your stop should be right about there, which just so happens to be right below this wick, right, and your target is range high. So if you're losing 20 bucks and say you're willing to lose 20 bucks, right, you're gaining almost $350, right? Again, these are extreme moves and you may not be able to capture this whole thing, but I'm saying this is how you need to utilize risk to reward ratios. You have to understand that for every dollar that you are thinking about losing, you should try to think, how can I gain 2 or more dollars based on the dollar that I will lose if I get my stop hit? So same thing with losing $20, right? If you're going to lose $20 if your stop gets hit, you should have your next target profit positioned in a way where you're thinking about gaining $40 or more, okay? That is how risk to reward ratios work, and this is how one of the main reasons and one of the main ways we take trades in this market, okay? Let me see here. So anyway, as you can see clearly, folks, we have a ton of channels right here, and we provide content in there every day. We have, group chats available where you can discuss maybe things that you're struggling with in terms of trades. If you want to talk about Bitcoin, we have a Bitcoin discussion channel where you can ask questions, talk your trade setups, talk about the halving, anything that you want to talk about. We have the alt channel where we put out a ton of alt trades, people who are trading alts on a day-to-day basis. We even have an alt leverage channel where you can go in and you can start trading on exchanges like FTX and FEMX, where you can essentially trade altcoins with leverage, or you can even short them with leverage. Okay. So as you can see, tons of content, and also, the equities channel where we provide morning updates in terms of, the opening bell and then the closing updates, and then a stock market channel if you have any questions regarding that. So come join Cryptosomniac, folks. Hit the products page, hit the Advantage subscription right here, and I hope to see y'all soon. All right. Take care. Cheers, and keep your stops tight.